Recording.
Okay, we've got recording ongoing. I can welcome everybody and call the meeting to order at 9:10.
Yes, and through the chair, we do have some special guests with us today. We have folks from TDM here, so they will be, I think, joining us more often as we move on to these next meetings in the spring. So we have Shauna Bayan with TDM, Georgina Gonzalez, and then Al Talavera. Al, would you want to talk about real quickly the positions that each of you hold, just so we're aware?
Sure, yeah, I'll go start off. So, my position, I'm a district coordinator. So basically, the state is divided into districts. My district goes from El Paso all the way to Brewster County. So it's the 6 counties in West Texas. My position is just sort of like a liaison between the locals, between the mayors, the judges, and other state agencies and the feds, especially during disaster. So, we're kind of a liaison, and we're there to help the judges and the mayors and any of the jurisdictions during disasters. So that's basically what I do. And but Gina.
I'm Georgina Gonzalez. I'm one of the regional mitigation coordinators for us, and so we cover 36 counties. My main focus is the hazard mitigation plans. These can be county specific plans or multi-jurisdictional plans. These plans cover, this plan covers all of your hazards and your threats in your community, but also mitigation actions to be able to mitigate some of those threats to your communities.
And my name is Shauna Payan. I'm the other hazard mitigation coordinator here in Region 4. Along with Gina, I do hazard mitigation grants. So in order to get the grant that's tied to a disaster, you do have to have a hazard mitigation plan or be a private nonprofit. And so together we work with our jurisdictions to have their plans in place and to get the grants whenever they're available.
And then Ed, I believe Shauna will be taking over the position for non-voting member. So she'll be replacing Judy. And then just as a reminder, TDM, the Texas Division of Emergency Management. Okay, all right, so I'll turn it back over.
So can we make sure that somebody distributes those names and contacts and titles?
Yes, sir.
All
I'll
right,
send those out, Jeff.
thanks.
Plus, it'll be in the minutes too.
I'll give them the contact information.
Okay, I'll move on to item number 2. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make comment at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to number 3. That's you, Annette.
Yes, we have before you the minutes for the meetings that were held on December 6th and 15th for your consideration for approval.
Let's do them one at a time. Any comments on the December 6th minutes? Can I have a motion to accept those minutes, please?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, any comments on the December 15th minutes? And a motion to accept those, please.
So moved.
Jeff, second.
Okay.
All in favor, please say aye again.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And we'll move on to number 4, Rio Cog.
Yes, so at the beginning of each calendar year, as according to our bylaws, we need to nominate members from the group to serve as the chair, vice chair, and secretary. Currently, we have Omar Martinez serving as the chair for the flood planning group. We have Dave Hall serving as the vice chair, and we'll have Javier Acosta serving as the secretary.
I'd like to make a motion to leave them the same, unchanged.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Water Development Board, Richard.
Good morning, everyone. This is Richard Bagans from the Water Development Board. So lots, hopefully my video just froze. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Lots of stuff going on over here at our end. The adopted final plans were submitted by your technical consultants in early January. So we are in full review of those final plans right now. At the same time, we are doing a lot of lessons learned and gearing up for a lot of changes for the second cycle to make it a little bit better, more efficient, streamlined. So we're going through a rulemaking process to change our agency rules to kind of set the groundwork for the next cycle. And we are also going through the FMP, FME, FMS ranking process at the statewide level. That particular ranking process we're looking at it for it to go out to public comment sometime this spring. It will go out to public comment for at least 30 days, I believe, before and get feedback on that before we officially finalize the ranking criterion process. And yes, I think that's it. In terms of administrative updates, we're meeting with Rio Grande COG and ACOM after this, just to discuss some of the invoices and contracts, kind of working out the budget, making sure all the tasks close out, tasks 1 through 11, and then moving over to 12 and 13 and the timing, and making sure everything's streamlined. So there are a couple of different issues and slowdowns, but we're working to resolve those together. Other than that, I don't have any other updates. Does anybody have any questions for me at all at this time?
No questions, but it was great seeing you at Water for Texas this year.
You do, Omar. Always love that conference, and I remember seeing you at the previous one too. So thanks all for everyone that traveled down to the TWDB Water for Texas conference. Again, it's one of my favorite conferences because it's big picture panel discussions, and Omar was on the flood planning panel representing as a chair from the chair's perspective.
And if it's okay, I'd like to push back. I'd like to tell all the story of what happened, but I'd like to push it back to the next meeting, please.
We're going to table that until the next meeting. Okay. Nothing else from Richard then? Okay, let's move on to item number 6, AECOM. Gilbert?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's go ahead and share our screen here. Travis or whoever's going to share it. There we go. This is our Region 14 Rio Grande Flood Planning General Meeting for today, February 7th, 2022. Go ahead, next slide, please. This meeting is going to cover just general RFP updates, and we're also going to have a discussion on the Task 12, you know, the performing the FMEs that we're doing for the amended RFP. Next slide. Here are the updates that we're going to go over. Okay, so these are the general RFP updates. These are upcoming dates that are pretty much tentative. We wanted to kind of line out the rest of how this amendment's going to go. So apart from the meeting we're having today, we're hoping to have another meeting on the week of March 6th. That again is going to be progress meeting on identified FMPs. Again, the week of April 10th, the week of May 8th. We're looking to submit a draft amendment to the RFPG group on May 26th. Looking to have another general meeting on the week of June 5th. We have a deadline to the regional flood planning group to provide us comments on June 9th. We're also going to post our agenda for approval of the amended RFP on June 16th. We'll have the general meeting the week of the June 19th on there. discuss the comments on the amended RFP. And we're requesting approval from the Regional Flood Planning Group on the amended RFP, either June 29th or the 30th. And with that being said, we'd be looking at submitting the amendment on July 14th. Now, I don't know if y'all had any questions on that, but just that's kind of giving you guys a look ahead to start planning to attend meetings that time, so we don't have any problems having quorum issues. Also, we did submit our final regional flood plan to TWDB on July 10th. We did receive a confirmation that they did submit it. I just don't recall.
January 10th.
I mean, I'm
Just
sorry.
so everybody knows, it was January 10th.
Thank you, Richard. My bad.
July 10th.
We did receive a confirmation email, but I don't think we've gotten one that it's been administratively complete. Will we be receiving one or just receiving comments, Richard?
Yes, you will be receiving one in the next few weeks. I believe our target is mid-March, early to mid-March to get those out. All regions are the statements of administratively complete around that time.
Hey, this is Dave. I want to thank Gilbert and AECom for presenting to us these proposed dates for future meetings. Spring and summer can get pretty busy, so I think this is a great idea.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. All righty. Anybody have any questions? If not, we can move on. Next, I think we're going to have Jeff Urban. He's going to be covering the discussion of Task 12 on performing the FMEs and amended RFP. Jeff, go ahead and take it over. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff is muted.
Yes.
So I'm managing task 12, the task that's going to take the flood mitigation evaluations and add the information that TWD requires to make them eligible to be flood mitigation projects, which you all will then review and add or not add to the plan. We've discussed which ones we were going to study within task 12, and these 6 we've approved, you all approved during a previous meeting. The one that's shaded at the end is there because it's to be done if we have available funds, or if one above for some reason doesn't get through the gate. So let me just discuss. So the one that we want to discuss within this slide is the one that's, we'll actually discuss them one by one as we go through the next set of slides. And we have in here the costs that we've allocated out of the Task 12 budget to basically do this work. And these 2 FMEs were FMEs that covered all the projects within the stormwater master plans for the city and for the county. And these 2 were the ones that were selected in earlier meetings from those approved plans by the city and county to be included potentially as FMPs, excuse me. So let's go on to the next slide. So the next slide is we're going to provide the status briefly on the Gateway System Pump Station, which is the FME that we're going to be carrying forward as an FMP into this amended plan. And Gilbert, can you give us a brief update on where that sits?
Yeah, Jeff. We've already done several studies here for EP Water as far as that's concerned, and we've given them several options on that pump station. We're just waiting to hear back from the client now on what their preference is for us to continue on.
So we're going to have a meeting shortly, basically to get with them and approve the recommendations that we made in an earlier study, and then we'll be able to go full tilt on this particular project. Next one. So the next one is the one that's out of the master plan. So has Gilbert's joined us now, so we'll go ahead with this one. So Clint Kimball is going to be the immediate supervisor of this particular study. So Gilbert, Clint, will you give us a brief update on where we are on VIN 1?
Yeah, we are. We're updating the models currently. That's underway. Another thing about this project is it was originally conceived as basins with embankments. You can see on the figure here, 24-foot and 23-foot high embankments, which would be regulatory dams. And one thing that I know is a priority for both the county and the city is a preference towards basins without embankments, just so you don't need emergency action plans, you don't need inspections. It's just easier moving forward, even though it is more expensive. So this is going to include a revisit of basins versus embankments, which will be a little more expensive, but that's in progress.
So we should be able to give an update on budget at the next meeting in March.
Are
But at this time,
those basins lined with concrete?
No.
So they're dirt. Okay, thank you.
so on to the next one, Gilbert. Because the next one is the city of Pecos. As we discussed in an earlier meeting, we did have an early meeting with Pecos. We've identified the people within the city of Pecos administrations to participate in selection of a project to go ahead forward with to convert into an FMP for this revised plan. They've gone off to basically identify major flood events and any recorded high water marks which they may have from those events. We've gone off and done a study on their watershed to identify the times based upon gauge data when they would likely have had their most severe floods. And so we will shortly have a meeting with them to basically put those two bits of information together and have a way to at least provide a simple check of whether the models that we generate are in the ballpark or not. In the case of this particular area, we don't have detailed FEMA maps for this particular area that's flooded. So it's important that we have some kind of independent check on whatever it is that we generate for the extent of damages that we predict. Anybody have any questions on this one?
Jeff, this is Annette. Since we do have Tatum here, are you all aware if the Permian Basin region is currently doing their hazard mitigation plans?
Yeah, so currently they are not. We actually have a meeting with them next month where we're gonna meet with the Permian Basin COG to kind of develop a plan moving forward to get their hazard mitigation plans approved. I will say though, Pecos does have their plan approved right now.
They already have their plan.
Yes. Individually as a county plan.
Jeff, do you need that hazard mitigation plan by chance? Do you need us to get you a copy of that for Pecos if that's helpful at all?
It would certainly be helpful. I think it's also would be helpful to look the other, have both of us check what each one of us have done separately. I mean, we have a section within the regional flood plan, which you all have, obviously, and that plan should be reviewed, which has a whole series of maps like this. You can see this is labeled map 15 and it has map 3 of 31. A number of these maps are within the Permian Basin. And so you might cross-check. I need to cross-check your mitigation plans versus what we've identified as a problem to be resolved. And you should probably review what we've done. And if we've identified a problem that you don't know, you should maybe consider it for your next plan. And or you can tell us that problem doesn't exist, and we would certainly use that information in how we go forward. So yeah, and that's one reason why I wanted to have the contact names from the meeting, because I don't think we've contacted directly with or at least we've had face-to-face contact with the emergency management teams in the basin before.
Okay, I'll get you that documentation, Jeff, from Pegasus for sure.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
On to the next one. So Alpine, same discussion basically as we had for just above for Pecos. They don't have current FEMA flood maps. We're going through the same drill. They're going in their corner with staff that they've identified that are knowledgeable, and they're coming up with events that have caused problems in the past to vet the flooding that we're showing here, and you can see it's extensive. We've gone through and checked the gauges within the watershed and are identifying recent events that should be within the memory of everybody to vet whether significant flooding occurred, and also come up with a rough return period for those events to know whether they should have been remembered based upon this mapping. And again, that'll make us, when we estimate future damages and benefits, that we have some technical basis for vetting what we do.
Does Alpine have an approved plan?
They're part of the Rio Grande clock, so it's being reviewed right now.
Okay, all right.
So, and then as far as the, he mentioned that he wanted some contacts. Which contacts would you want? Do you want, emergency management contacts or city contacts, or what exactly, which contacts is he looking for?
Well, we'll provide the TDM contacts, the three of you, but then also whoever the EMCs are for those jurisdictions. So we'll give you the counties that we take care of,
Okay,
and that way we can get your AMCs from there.
okay, and then, like, the city of Pecos, I mean, we can, I know that the EMC is from Pecos as well, so if you need his contact, I can get that for you.
Okay. I'm sorry,
And-
Jeff.
And I believe the people from the city of Pecos are likely on our team. I don't remember off the top of our head, but I will make sure that everybody that's on the list that we are given out of this meeting, that we get them invited to the future meetings with Pecos and Alpine. Because I'll be directing the meeting. So it's great that you all showed up today and showed interest. Appreciate it.
When you have that meeting with Alpine, Jeff, could you invite me too, please?
Yes. And who just spoke?
It's Jeff Bennett.
Oh, okay, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Just-
I should
just-
have recognized your voice.
Just as somebody who's been around Alpine for 40 years and seen the creeks come up multiple times, flooding looks nothing like this map.
It does look like it or it doesn't?
Does not.
Well, that's important information. Can we have a private call on that topic?
You bet.
All right, so I'm going to call you. It may not be today. I've got a lot of deadlines today, but I'll try to call you tomorrow afternoon. Do you have time tomorrow?
Actually, I'm going on a ranch visit tomorrow. So Friday might be better.
Okay, Friday at.
I have to pull up my
Oh,
calendar. I'll send you an email.
All right, that'll work. And I'm pretty free on Friday, so you can just tell me when you want to talk, and then we'll pull up this map and you can give me your take on it. That would be helpful.
Okay.
All right. So on to the next map. So what Jeff said that map may or may not be accurate is entirely feasible. These maps are based upon fairly first order level modeling that are based upon statistical rainfall and topography and pretty basic assumptions concerning hydrology, how much water runs off for each event. So local information vetting or denying the maps that we create is critically important to what we do here. So it's great when people speak up and say that isn't right, because then we won't go off developing a project that's going to solve a non-problem, right? We want to solve the real ones. So enough of that. So with Kermit, the modeling shows a whole lot of flooding within Kermit. And again, it's the first order level modeling. And we've not had any interest shown by the city of Kermit in participating in this process. And Ed, have you been able to get any rise out of them on?
No, sir. We, I mean, I feel comfortable with the attempts that we made to get them on board with this initiative, and they were non-responsive.
Right, and we've had a lot of attempts on our side too. So if we go back up to the top, we had a project in abeyance, waiting to see if a project didn't get out of the gate, or if we had sufficient budget at the end to fit it in, and that was the city of Pecos. We're going to go ahead and based upon what we know at this point, we're going to go ahead and start on the city of Presidio, and we'll have a meeting at the next meeting to formally take the city of Kermit off the list, unless they somehow pop up in the interim in the next month. So let's go on to Presidio, but there'll be no vote today on this. So Presidio has a lot of flooding in their watershed. It's the bulk of it is associated with a levee system that hasn't been certified on the west side of town, and that flooding may or may not be as extensive as predicted in the first order modeling that we did. So that's not the bulk of the flooding that's going to be addressed by an FMP for the city of Pecos. It's going to be these smaller areas along the local watershed tribs that run through the city itself. And you can see if somebody can, who's running the slideshow? Is it you, Travis?
Yes, sir. I'm running the slideshow.
Just circle that trib on the east side of that map. It's got the red boxes in it.
Oh, hold on. Is this showing up?
Yeah, right. So that's probably the biggest area of overbank flooding that's been predicted in the city of Presidio. So we will start contact with the city of Presidio and see if they have interest in creating an FMP out of the general FME we have to do a stormwater master plan for the city of Presidio. Anybody have any questions on that?
Jeff, just let me know what week you're looking at for engaging in a meeting, and I can set up with city officials.
Yes, it's probably going to be either the end of this week or the beginning of next week. We want to get started pretty quickly, but we've just been strapped for a bit. So we're going to try to probably do it the beginning of next week is when we do it.
Okay, I'll get with you after the meeting and you can give me some potential times and date.
All right. And with that, I'll pass it on to the next presenter.
With that being done, that completes our updates on this as far as AECOM's concerned, Dave. So we'll push it on to the next one.
We've completed the discussion of task 12.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, might you have any information that you might want to include also in the discussion at Presidio?
Which Jeff?
Bennett.
I'm sorry, say that one more time about Presidio.
You were interested in participating in the Alpine discussion, I think, because of the flooding you said that was a little different than what the map showed. Might you have any interest in doing the same for Presidio?
Assuming that there's time, yes. I do know some people down there that I could talk to though. So I can reach out. Let me know when that happens and I'll reach out to some if I can't make it.
So Jeff, as a just a warning for what we might go over on Friday, if you're willing, is we'd share screens and you could kind of circle on the map the areas that are probably incorrect on our map, just to document the meeting. Could you?
Okay.
And
I can do that confidently. What about Alpine? Presidio would be a little more difficult. Just because
that particular map is, let me go back down here. That particular map is in map 15 and it's map 4 of 31 in the plan.
Okay.
So that's the one we're going to be looking at.
Okie doke.
Right. If that's complete, then I think we need to talk about the next meeting. And it looks like that's the week of the 6th of March.
And I've already sent out a doodle poll to see what day of that week works best for everyone. So as soon as I get your feedback, I'll go ahead and get with AECom to identify what the majority said was best for the group.
It just as a thought here, is anybody interested in calendaring a little bit farther out than 1 month out? I know a lot of people might plan vacations. They might have school breaks where they want to go do things. And I'm wondering if we might be interested in addressing maybe the next 3 meetings instead of just March and do a doodle poll on those. What's everybody think?
She's already sent one for April.
Yeah, I did.
Ashley, okay, all right.
Okay, then I'll send May as well. So that'll be our 3 meetings. How's that? Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm just, does everybody
Thank
think that's a reasonable thing to do at this point, or are we getting too far ahead of ourselves in trying to plan meetings?
My dance card's full up through May, so we might as well
Great,
start talking about
Okay.
dates.
all right. I think that the only other thing left on the agenda is to adjourn. Thanks for hanging with us the whole time, Jeff.
So moved.
Okay, so Jeff Bennett makes the motion to adjourn. Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Being no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, is there anybody opposed to adjourning? Seeing nothing opposed, we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marvin. Really appreciate you getting on the call. Let's see, so, Richard, if you'd like, once we get off of this meeting, we can do the other one, with AECom.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
can
guys.
jump. We can jump onto the other one. If y'all want to join, just give me a minute to do a facilities break real quick and I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you all there. Bye.
We're just, trying to.